Okay, well, we have the Leah Mitchell on the call with us tonight to share the opportunity presentation. Leah has been in Premier for going on 14 years and has almost 250 people in her Premier family. And so she definitely knows the business and knows how to share the opportunity and just knows what Premier has to offer and is excited to share that with other people. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to Leah and just let you go ahead and share with us tonight. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Maria. I appreciate it. And I'm just honored and humbled at what this business has done for us. And I'll share first just a little of my story. My husband and I were newlyweds when we started the business. It had a lot of debt. I was a dental hygienist, and he's a pole dancer for our local power company, a lineman for the county. But we had acquired a lot of personal debt outside of our mortgage, and really were praying for something that would be able to allow us to pay that down. And I'd experienced a jewelry show, much like a lot of folks, and wasn't really a jewelry wearer, but the fact that Premier paid what they do, the 50%, really caught my attention. And I thought, I will put on some jewelry for that. And so in 2001, we started our journey. I was going to do this just for a year. I thought, if I could make $1,000 a month putting some jewelry on a mannequin, I could do this for a year and pay off some debt, and really that's $12,000. Well, my first year in Premier, I made way over $50,000 just showing the jewelry and sharing the business with other people. And I realized very quickly I could pay my debt off and also replace my income. So after 4 years, we paid our debt down, or off, we're completely debt-free, paid our mortgage off at less than 25 years old. And so we just thought, you know what, I could quit my job and make this a full focused effort. So it's just been an absolute blessing for us. Now, my story is kind of unique. I know that that's not a reality for most people. Most folks work this part-time along their full-time jobs and so forth. But, it is what you make it and what you set out for it to be. And I'm just so thankful that Premier is designed that way, that it can be a great source of part-time income, it can be a full-time income, or it can be a phenomenal career that allows you to be at home with your children and still have the opportunities, the flexibility, and like I say, the fortune in friendships and the fortune in finances. So first off, I'll just share that there's a couple things that Premier gives us that were really impressive to me. I'd looked into some other direct sales businesses, and I know in our society right now it seems as if everyone's looking for something to make an extra source of income to their family, whether it be a part-time job or direct sales marketing. Even Donald Trump says that if he lost all of his fortunes, that he would start in a multi-level marketing business and just get to work, because it is truly the American dream, where that you can surpass those in your upline and you can make a significant income, which is why most people get into business. But I had done direct sales before when I was in college. And so I was very intrigued at the fact that Premier had a product that was visual. One of my biggest concerns was I don't want to see people at church and run into folks out and about and then go, oh gosh, here she comes, she's trying to sell me some earrings. And I didn't want anybody to feel like that they had to make total life changes with what I was doing, by the drink I was selling or something like that. I loved the fact that it was a visual product that creates a lot of compliments. And so that overcame the main objection I had with, after the few friends that I know, who next? So that was the biggest thing for me. And because of our guarantee on this phenomenal visual jewelry product that we have, the worst thing that can happen in jewelry is it breaks. And if it's a manufacturing defect, Premier takes care of that for us, absolutely free within the first 60 days. All you pay is $5 plus tax for a brand new piece after the 60 days if it isn't normal wear and tear. So that takes all of the negative out of the worst thing that could happen. And then the fact that our hostess plan is bar none. I didn't have to worry and haven't had to worry over 1,200 shows later who's going to be my next hostess. And there are still women who I know really well that are great friends that have never had a jewelry show with me. They've come, been customer supportive, kind of understand what I do, but I know that people don't see me coming and think, oh, there she is, like the traditional direct sales kind of person. So even all these years later, I don't experience that. We are a walking advertisement. for what we do, sometimes wacky too, but walking advertisement. And so people will compliment, and I've actually booked jewelry shows to total strangers at the grocery store, the airport, you name it. And there's, again, no lifestyle changes, and you don't have to be a certain size for it to work. My earrings have fit me all my life. So it's just kind of a great thing. But our hostess plan is really what helps you stay in business. And I mentioned that briefly, but the way it works is that we're not always hunting for new people because our jewelry does sell itself. And a lady always has a wish list longer than what her checkbook allows in most cases. So when she sees and experiences, touches, and feels the jewelry, she's going to want more. And our hostesses are incentivized to help us build and grow our business because of the way Premier was structured. So a hostess gets 30% in free jewelry, and all you pay as a jeweler is $8 for that. So the sky's the limit. She has a $1,000 show, she gets $300 free. Cool thing is if she has just a $100 show, that's $30 free. There's not a lot of companies that offer that. 30% is huge. It's bigger than what most companies even pay their distributors, and we're giving that to our hostesses for free, and Premier's paying for it. It's just unheard of. Then they also get to buy up to 8 items half price. Some women, that's the part that they remember most because we love that kind of a deal when we go shopping. So in addition to those half-price items, whatever they spend, Premier is going to reward them back in 30%. Again, unheard of. And then the things that keep us in business through our hostess plan as jewelers is that our hostesses get a gift card for $50 in free jewelry when they keep their original date and have $100 in pre-sales. So what that does is it means you're going to make money as a jeweler when you first even drive up to the house. You've made $50 because we make 50%. I'll share that in a second, a little more in depth. But it also assures her that she's going to get some free jewelry, and it makes her keep her date. That's a huge concern that people have. What about folks that reschedule? She's going to do whatever she can, to go ahead and keep that date scheduled with you because she's incentivized so well with that $50 free. And then the next one is she gets $50, again, another gift card for having 3 friends that decide to have a jewelry show of their own. And it could be a coffee show, a lunch show, a after work show, whatever, Saturday morning show, Sunday afternoon. It's kind of, we just can do whatever. We're like, have jewelry, will travel. We do a short presentation, share the jewelry with them and how the hostess plan works and so forth. And that lady can, too, take advantage of the hostess benefits. So what it does is it encourages our current hostess to help fill our calendar because she's going to get free jewelry for doing so. So that was just really impressive to me because I know just when one group of people, that ripple is your circle of influence, but it's when you get to that second or third ripple of people that it expands tremendously. And I'll tell you, I've been to a numerous amount of strangers' homes that are now my friends and, really close acquaintances that I've met on the journey through Premier, and that's what's unique about this, too. So those 2 things, the guarantee on the jewelry itself and the hostess planner are what's going to keep you in business and what Premier does for us that sets us apart from anything else there ever was out there. And then I briefly touched on the 50%. There's actually 2 ways we can make money in this business, and one is selling the jewelry. But as I said, the jewelry sells itself. And my proof in that is when I see jewelry ladies hunched over a table of another jeweler's wanting the jewelry that they don't have themselves. That's just proof, that it does sell itself. And it's something that's the number 1 gift-giving item. And men will buy it. That's just unheard of, too, in most direct sales businesses that are out there. It's something that men will purchase as a gift, and there's always another gift that people can buy. So you could sell an individual piece of jewelry, or let's say a lady takes a catalog and just gets orders. You still make 50% that way, too. But the best investment for your time is doing that presentation for some ladies, loving on them, sharing a dose of hope, giving them, a little bit of your kindness and goodness for the evening, and letting them experience, touch, and feel the jewelry, and bless the hostess with some free jewelry by doing a jewelry show. The average show nationwide now is well over $450 to $500. That's even rural America where we live. Mississippi, the average show even still around here is about $500. So $250 for a couple, 3 hours of your time. There's not many professions that afford that as an income. Premier is bar none the best. I love it. And we're having fun, eating brownies and playing in bling. So that 50% is huge, and you can make a great extra income with that. On average, I make a couple $1,000s a month doing just that. Because it's fun, and 50% is phenomenal. But the other side of it is where you can take this business from being just, a regular income or part-time income to being a career. And that's by sharing this with other people and giving them the opportunity to make 50% too. And I figured that out early on. I did not want to, what we call in Premier, sponsor. Because I'd been in direct sales, and I knew what that looked like. It meant I was responsible for someone else. But at my very first show, somebody came up to me, sweet lady who I still know really well, my sister-in-law's aunt, and she said, I need this. I need extra income. I've got teenage daughters, and they want designer jeans and everything else you can imagine, and I need a part-time job. I want to do this. And it took that. It took the Lord putting her in my life for me to see and realize that other people have needs, and I'm not going to be selfish with it. So that's why so many of you guys were invited to listen, because it may not be for you, but you may know someone that needs this in their life, much like that sweet lady and other folks that have come in my path. But Premier pays us 10%, 3 levels deep, of whatever they submit to the company. So let's say, for instance, when you sponsor a jeweler and she does a show that's $500, she makes $250. And then of the $250 she sends to Premier, they're going to send you $25. And we get a check once a month on the 10th. And it's a pretty fun day here at our house. I'll tell you, I know more than what every dentist I ever worked for makes, just being at home with my kids, enjoying freedom, flexibility, and loving on people, because that's what Premier is about. And it's just a really huge thing. And the reason why they do 10% is because they want you to know that you've got 3 people with a vested interest in your success. When you're brand new, you think, oh, gosh, I don't know enough to tell somebody else about this. But whoever brought you in and sharing and mentoring you is going to help them as well, because they're compensated the same you are. So that was reassuring to me, and I loved that part of it as well, and it just allows for you to grow and build friendships. So all that is well and good. It's just some fun points and some information, like I said, about how we can make money too. But the next part is how you get started, and it's probably the thing I'm most proud of about Premier is that it's an investment. It's not something that's $50. It actually keeps people from doing this that aren't willing to work, and it allows the rest of us to be in business. We're not a buying club. We are actually a business where we go and we make money. It's not just about signing people up. You can make a great income doing Premier without signing people up. So Premier is $395. And what that does is it authorizes you to own a business for a year. After a year, you do pay a renewal fee, $350. Once again, that's our job security. When I was practicing dental hygiene, my licensure was over $400 a year that I had to pay out of pocket. So it's kind of like that. Any professional career that you have, you're going to have to pay a licensure, and this allows you that. But within that, they also file your state sales tax for you, which if you've ever owned a business or know someone who has. That's usually about $400 quarterly, 4 times a year. So Premier's taking care of that for you for a whole year, one fee, not just where you live, but everywhere in the United States, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, I think. I don't even know where all you can do Premier, pretty much the U.S. Mostly, but we're just still trying to get into Arkansas, is what the founders say. So we're trying to keep it here in the States, but they do file those state sales tax for you, so you can go anywhere. There's no territories in Premier. You can do as much or as little as you want anywhere you like. They also package and ship all your orders for you. And I know when I was involved in the direct sales company I was before, I had to do all that, and it took up a whole Saturday every single week for me to package and deliver everything once it was shipped to me. And because Premier does that for us, they ship it to our hostesses, and it's all sorted. It makes it wonderful. It makes it really an easy transition for them to receive their jewelry. And then they do give you literature, catalogs, and so forth to do about 8 to 10 shows successfully, and you are confirmed as a jeweler. The thing is, they do keep the jewelry separate. And the reason why is because no one ever makes commissions off of any jewelry you purchase. They want to make sure that you realize when you come in with jewelry that's not paid commissions. They want to give you the best deal. So the other part that you would pay as a jeweler is $475, and that's for a boutique of jewelry. It's a $1,300 value. You also get a free case and trays and all the things that you need to look professional. I love that they do that now. You get a cloth so that you could pretty much set up at a fundraiser show at a school. You could do a salon. You're always going to look like the jewelry lady, not somebody crazy that's come in here with her little packages of whatever. I love how professional it looks because of that. And so that boutique is there for you just so that you've got that visual product to show and for folks to touch and try on. It's also, like I said, the best deal, the best value, because you're getting about 65% off of the retail price. And you can buy jewelry at half off anytime, but when you purchase the jewelry when you first get started, they give you a huge discount. And I think it's a wise investment. I've only ever sponsored one person without the boutique, if you will, because she already had a ton of jewelry as a hostess. But your chances of success goes up about 95% with jewelry. So it's just really important. It's kind of like going to McDonald's and then not having French fries. At that particular franchise, they probably wouldn't do very well. You got to have jewelry to have a jewelry business. So it's just a wise choice. And I know that those two amounts, $395 in tax and $475 in tax, is a lot of money. My husband and I had $37 in our checking account when we looked at doing this, and that was supposed to last us for another week. So writing a check was out of the question. We even tried for Premier's financing, which they do offer with approved credit. You can even have a co-signer to help you with it. It's wonderful if you do the interest-free option, and that's a wise thing as well because you can let Premier pay for itself as you work your business. But we weren't approved for that either, and I'm kind of glad we weren't because it taught me to teach people how to have other resources and to look at different options for themselves. We went to the bank, we took out a loan, and in 3 weeks we had it paid back. We've had people do all sorts of creative things. So I just always tell everybody, money aside, you got to see yourself doing this. And do you need to change? If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten. And anything worth doing costs something, and it's worth the sacrifice, and it will pay itself back. If you're willing to show the jewelry, it will sell itself, and you'll make your money back. So there's lots of options, and whoever invited you could certainly help you with some ideas of how to come up with the money if this is something you could see yourself doing. And right away, Premier starts to reward you and incentivize you. The first thing you do when you get started, when you're ready, you have a training show. Your sponsor comes and does that, and you get to take advantage of being the hostess and the jeweler. So you're making money right away to pay back towards your investment, plus adding some of the samples to your boutique that you absolutely love, because those boutique pieces are the top sellers. They're what Premier knows are going to sell. And some of them are not going to be your favorites. They're going to be the things that the majority of the people love. And I think that's a great thing, too, that you let Premier pick those things out, because otherwise you may have all silver and you might need some gold or what have you. But once you do have a training show, you can pick some pieces that you're really passionate about and love. And right away, too, from that, they start to reward you for your success in working just one show a week. You can earn up to $400 in free jewelry in your first 12 weeks of business. So there's just constantly prizes and incentives, and it's all optional, but it's definitely, a track that you can take to your success in this business. It's an easy business to do. It's a lot of fun, and it's truly something that has blessed us and so many other people. And I'll just finish in saying this, that I think the thing that I'm most excited about Premier, and really what was inspiring to me and what pushed us to make the decision to do this business in the beginning, and what keeps me grounded and helps me stay focused even now, is what Premier stands for, and that is to honor God and to serve people and to enrich lives, and that our philosophy, purpose, and plan all coincide with what God's philosophy is in his word. And I know firsthand from Joan Horner, who was one of the founders, her and her husband Andy, in 1985 when they founded Premier. They wanted for all of us as jewelers to keep God first, then our family, and then our career. And I'm here to tell you, when I started Premier, my whole life was out of sync. I really had just that bottom line debt kind of in my sight, and for 4 years worked like nobody's business and made, that my focus. Whereas I wasn't raised that way. It was always God first and then my family. And do I regret the sacrifice? No, it was a short-term sacrifice for the long-term results. But I was really happy that in my last encounter with Joan Horner, she told me, Leah, you've got to find balance. You're going to have a baby, and God's got to be first, and then that baby, and then your business. And that just really turned my whole life, my whole business around. When you put him first and your family next, and that you're working for that purpose, we can't, of course, let our family be the excuse as to why we don't work, but, they have to be our first priority for why we are working. And I love that about Premier, that they make you feel special, because people are the heart of this business, and we need more wonderful people like you in this company. We're one of the smallest in the industry, even though we're 30 years old. But I just hope that you'll prayerfully consider, and that you'll realize that now is your time to shine in this business of Premier Design. So thanks, Maria.